Ready for the video?
I am.
Let's do it.
That's really early.
And do whatever process you have been initiated for.
Mama heart done.
Perfect.
Okay.
Your
Did
system.
Awesome.
Happening
I do.
that we call
the
as
universe
cosmos.
is
We are
pretty
not
interesting.
If there is a live seed within
Yeah.
647,
30 in the morning is pretty early for me.
Buddha.
Are you initiated?
Yes, I am.
Somebody wants to initiate me. Let me know.
Yeah. Based on that.
I think I'm totally a book yogi.
Present practice. What's conscious? This is Vish and
Heather,
today we'll be responding to Sadhguru's video on
something phenomenal happens at 3:40 a.m.
My name is Vish and I'm an aspiring yogi and I've been meditating for over 4 years now. Love all things meditation, yoga, and wisdom based. And I'm grateful to have Heather with me today. Want to introduce yourself?
Hey guys, I'm Heather. I actually manage a True Rest float spa here in Austin, Texas. It's sensory deprivation.
Heather, what are your thoughts on this 3:40 a.m. time? What does it mean to you? Like, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
The first thing that comes to my mind is the time frame, 3:40 a.m. I think it is a pretty phenomenal time. But again, to me, time is only borrowed. So just depending on how you feel about it and everybody else, it could be a magical thing.
Cool, thanks for sharing that. We'd love to hear what you all think about that time, whatever it means to you, whether it's good, bad, doesn't matter. It's an open platform for open discussion. You can comment down below. Have you heard of Sadhguru before?
I have not.
Okay.
I think not in person at least, but I have.
You seen his videos?
I've seen a few of his videos, yes. The one that we're gonna watch, I have not seen, so I'm pretty excited. Let's get into the video.
Many problems that human beings are suffering is simply because we have lost that awareness as to how to be in sync with the many forces. If you become in rhythm with life, you will also wake up somewhere after 3 a.m.
at that
Wow, that's
time,
early.
if you sit up
That's really early.
and do whatever process you have been initiated for, it will bear maximum fruit.
In the way the planet is spinning and what is happening, something very fundamental changes somewhere between 3:20 to 3:40. This is called Brahma Muhurtam.
This is relevant only up
Pronounce
to
that, bra.
33
Brahma
degrees
Muhurtam.
latitude.
Brahma Hartam.
Perfect. You
Okay.
Your
did awesome.
system,
Awesome.
human system, functions in a certain way. It is a possibility. So, there has been an awareness about making use of this possibility.
Your life is a product of many things that we call as the universe, many things that we call as existence. So we are a consequence of a certain
Do you agree so far?
phenomenal happening
I do.
that we call
The
as
universe
cosmos.
is,
We are
pretty
not an
interesting.
individual existence.
Very.
Yeah.
So when you get in sync, certain things will happen. You know, there's a Sikharias in where we are in Tennessee, the US ashram, they wake up once in 17 years. Can you beat it? They know it is 17 years and they come awake
That
and
is
they breathe
crazy.
and they
That's a
go
lot
back
of
to sleep.
It is.
They're keeping time once in 17 years, no alarm bell anywhere. Well, how is this? I'm saying they're in sync with nature. We have lost sync within nature and we think that is our nature. No. All the many ailments, many problems that
So, Heather, so far from what we're watching, so much to unpack, but what are your thoughts?
I mean, what he just said right now, to be in sync with nature, I feel it's pretty important. Grounding yourself, those kind of things. Being in water, kind of our basic elements, fire, water, earth, and air. That also aligns with, you know, what sign you are, which I'm pretty interested in as well. But yeah, being in line with nature is pretty important.
Definitely important. I definitely agree with him to the point of like we've lost touch with that nature, right? And I think we've become so mind focused and just like logically oriented, which logic is great, the mind's great, but I think we shouldn't just rely on that, right? And in turn, as he says it in a very simple yet powerful line, we have lost our nature and think that this new nature is our real nature.
Which it's not. I mean, we come from Mother Earth, you know, Mother Earth, you know, gifted us with such amazing things like plants, animals, beautiful sunsets, you know, mountains to walk on, even the precious gems that are naturally, you know, made in the earth. I mean, we definitely have to give her something back, I think.
I agree with you, and super curious to hear about more. And
Let's get back into it.
Human beings are suffering is simply because we have lost that awareness as to how to be in sync with the many forces which are making us who we are. So yoga is to bring that sync so that you are in rhythm with life. If you become in rhythm with life, you will also wake up somewhere just after 3 a.m.
yoga means union, by the way.
If you're conscious,
do you know that?
suddenly a certain spark of aliveness will happen within you. Even if you're in deep sleep, you will come awake. This must happen to you. This means you're falling in sync with it. You're falling in sync with life.
So what should I do? Should I meditate? Should I do a kriya?
I love that.
Me too.
Doesn't matter what. You must do a process for which you have been initiated for. Because initiation means you were not just taught a practice, it was introduced into your system. It was implanted in your system. So whatever, if there is a life seed within you,
This is wow, definitely.
if you're awake at Brahma Muhurtam and sit for whatever that practice is, it bears maximum fruit because of the way the planet is behaving in relation to your system. If you become aware in a certain way, a certain level of awareness is achieved within you, you will see, you will simply know when the time is. If you go to bed at the right time, you don't have to look at your watch. You will always know when it is 3:40,
So I think that's part of the internal clock.
because the
Have you heard
body
of
will
it?
behave in a
I
different
have,
way.
briefly.
Yeah.
At that time, if you sit up and do whatever process you have been initiated for, not what you picked up from a book, it will bear maximum fruit. The seed will get the necessary support at that time for it to sprout or spurt up more rapidly than at other times. This is only for the initiated. If you are not initiated, you're a book yogi. Then
Have you heard that before, book
3:40,
yogi?
I have.
6:40, 7:40,
I'm definitely not one. I'm so
not
happy
so
about
much of
that.
a difference. Sandhya
Me neither.
kalas are more important for such people. Sandhya means 20 minutes before sunrise, 20 minutes after sunrise, or 20 minutes before sunset and 20 minutes after sunset. The same goes for noon and midnight, but they're of a different nature. So these two twilights are better for the uninitiated. 3:40 is good for those who've been powerfully initiated.
So Heather, what are your first thoughts after watching this really cool video?
Well, at first I didn't understand what 3:40 meant until he started explaining it at the end of the video. You know, the 20 minutes before sunset, 20 minutes before sunset, 20 minutes after sunset.
Sunrise, yeah.
Sunrise. It definitely made more sense as to, you know, do get that kind of rest.
Yes.
It's so important for you to sleep. And then he made it so much more clear as far as like, you are awakened.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something that it happened to me this year.
Tell me about it.
Feel like I awakened spiritually. I was so in robotic mode. And then I was introduced to yoga a couple years ago.
What kind?
Just regular flow. Early in the morning, because I love waking up early in the morning.
What time do you wake up?
Before sunrise. But that was always natural. It was a natural internal clock.
When you go to sleep?
9:30.
Well, that is important too, right? Not just when you wake up, but when you go to bed.
I'm an early riser, early bed. Yeah.
That's my goal. I'm not there yet.
Yeah. The more you do it, the more practice. Yeah. I drink tea now. I completely cut coffee out. I drink different teas for different kinds of moods. It's herbals. But this year just woke me up to meditation. I didn't actually start meditating until I started floating, which is ironic. And when might sound weird, but during floating, you awaken the theta base, the theta wave state. And that is actually a state where we used to use it when we were children only, which created creativity, imagination, focus. And we've lost that so much that we've become so robotic in our lives. And this video just really explained is if you're not aligned with the earth and you're not appreciating and everything that she's given us, then you're not really awake.
That's a great perspective, and I appreciate you for connecting with that too. And just like as a quick mini clarification, so the 3:40, I think, a.m., and this is what I've heard, I think it's like a range, so like 3:40 is like the time you talked about, but I think it's anywhere from 3 to 3:40. If you were able to naturally wake up at that time, then you're in sync. And essentially that's for the initiated, what he says. And so, do you know what that means, initiation?
Becoming new to something?
So it's like a bit hard concept to explain.
It's like you're one of the guys now.
I love that.
You've been initiated. You're part of the team.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
So this is kind of sort of like that, but it's more of like a secret / deeper process, where essentially some guru and there's no this is the only way. There's different gurus that can do this. Just, the wisdom gurus, whatever they mean. From across the traditions, I think even Buddhist / Eastern, Asian, Zen. Mm-hmm. I think they have that too. I'm not too sure, but definitely in India, I know they have the gurus and yogis will initiate you into a process. And what that means, at least from what I've understood, it's really hard to explain through the words again and through the mind.
So are you initiated by them or are you initiated? Okay.
So they initiate you, and it's what's the way he put it, and it's I guess the analogy he puts is that essentially he puts a seed inside you. And then just putting the seed inside you isn't enough because you need to take care of that seed, right? Nurture it, let it grow. And that's where your practices, like the meditations and whatever practice that person is initiating you into, will blossom.
Right.
On the other hand, he says that if you're a book yogi, so what that means is, things you've just learned from videos or books, and you're not initiated, not that that's not bad or good, but the key is that for y'all, it's then
so that means I'm totally a book yogi.
Based on that, well, yeah, based on that view, but that's okay, right?
No, it's fine. I'm okay with that.
And here's the key though, right? It's all about taking steps, and I was a book yogi too, right? And then eventually, as you go deeper and deeper into this, even then, right? I don't think you necessarily need, for example, I could be wrong here, so don't come after me if I'm wrong. But, for example, I think the Buddha, right? The Buddha.
Are you initiated?
Yes, I am. That's the thing too, right? It's like, it sounds like a big thing, but it's really not. It's just like, you got, that's what's hard to.
But it should be important and it should feel great.
Yes.
Don't ever undervalue yourself.
Oh yeah, no, definitely not undervaluing it, but it's significant but not important, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah? Okay. So, the point is I don't think you necessarily need a guru to get enlightened or to get liberated, whatever that goal is for y'all. But it does help, right? And that's why, having a guru is just, as he calls it, he calls himself a GPS.
Right.
A guru positioning system. Yeah. And so it's literally just, it's as simple as getting a personal trainer, right? For working out and whatever, right? Any class, instructor. The whole idea is to skip the steps that you would make mistakes of that the other person has, and you just, hopefully that makes sense.
It does. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense now.
So with that being said, essentially, yeah, for the initiated, as he says, 3:40 or 3 to 3:40 is the optimal time. And then for the book yogis, 20 minutes before sunrise and 20 minutes before sunset, after sunset, is the optimal time. So that's just a little clarification. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. If anybody wants to initiate me, let me know.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's a cool thing, and I think lots to learn and just dive into. I mean, it's I guess another quick example for like what this would mean is like, imagine again, book yogi is great. It's a great start. We all have to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, right.
And that was me too. Book yogi is like you, let's just say, opening the book, right? And like looking at the table of contents. Getting initiated is like you actually becoming a part of the book, or a part of the book going inside you. Does that make sense?
I love that.
I just thought of that on the spot.
I love that. I love that. Okay. Well, then maybe some grandparents are already initiated, because I know my grandmother always woke up at 4 a.m. or 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah. So that's another point too, actually. So I don't think you need to be. So that's, I guess, maybe two side, parts of this. One is I think being initiated. So all that he's saying is that if you're initiated and you wake up at the time, it's optimal.
It's optimal.
Yeah. You don't have to do that. It's just optimal. On the other hand, if you're in tune with the nature and the universe, it seems like your grandparents were, then you will naturally wake up at that time.
Always.
So
She was a natural before sunrise kind of waker.
yeah, it seems like it passed on to you.
Hopefully, yeah. We're getting there.
Slowly, step by step.
5:30 in the morning is pretty early for me. So
Now let me ask you this: do you use an alarm?
I don't, not anymore. I don't. So it's just, I wake up, okay, I'm up.
And you feel good.
I do, yeah.
That's great to hear. And I think just a little, advice for myself, and I am definitely someone that tends to, full transparency, like procrastinate just in general, but also with like sleeping, and used to have not the best habits, which included like being on the phone before you go to sleep, and eating late as well.
Eating late.
What are so let me hear about your advice on this.
Right, so I try to eat dinner at 5:30 every day. If it ends up happening to be later than that, which is usually around the weekends, because obviously we still go have fun and love going to socialize, I don't really hold myself too high of a standard if I do that. So, but yeah, 5:30, 6 o'clock is dinner, and then
Nothing after.
nothing after. Tea.
Okay.
I'll drink some tea.
And do you find, I'm sure that has to have some day, right, where you did eat late and like, whether it's 8 or 9, or has that never happened?
It's been a long time since I've eaten past maybe 9.
Okay.
Yeah, because I do go to bed at like 9:30. So
I love that. And what I'm curious though is, do you find a difference in your sleep when you do eat early versus that late?
let's see.
And it's been a while, but
Yeah, that like I said, it would probably have to be if I went to dinner or something with some friends.
Yeah.
Obviously, everybody likes to go to dinner at 7:30, 8 o'clock. So it didn't do too much of a difference, but I noticed that
even that's not too late. I'm thinking, and this is like, again, just when you're young, eating at
Right.
like midnight.
Yeah, those hot Cheetos and Coca-Cola. And,
Taco Bell. I don't know.
oh my, yeah, tamales at the 24-hour taco place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, anyways, the point I'm making, I think he should be great inspiration here, even for myself as well as for y'all. Or maybe you have great habits as well. But I think the key definitely is to focus on when you sleep. So he even recommends Sadhguru. He doesn't give an exact rule that it should be this time, but he just recommends early enough, as he says, to where you could wake up at this time. And then also he recommends having a very light dinner. So if anything, optimally, just like fruits and like vegetables. Primarily fruits is what he recommends. And I myself, just through experience, again, considering I have a pretty varied sleep time, wake up time, eating time, have definitely noticed I do wake up more earlier naturally when I don't eat late.
Yeah, your body has, it's taking its time to digest, but it doesn't have much to digest.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And as he says, another quick line, I read this recently, too much of food or too much of thought leads to lethargy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Heather, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Would love to hear what you all think about this video. Do you wake up at 3:40, or what's your wake up time? What's your ritual, as we just talked about, in the comments down below? And remind the viewers, Heather, where can they find you? Want to shout out your company or any of that good stuff?
Right, yeah. Like I said, you guys can definitely find me at the True Rest Float Spa off of Research Boulevard. It's a sensory deprivation spa. You float on 1,000 pounds of salt water, 10 inches. You can have light, you can have your own music, 60 minutes or 2 hours, really up to you. It's great for sleep, balancing that sleep, balancing your anxiety. It does help with addiction. It does help with ADHD. It's helped with PTSD as well. And that's one of my reasons why I do work here and why I'm going to open my own, to help the veterans with their PTSD. I have a lot of clients that travel pretty far just to help with this part of their life. So.
Well, that is super awesome to hear. Very respectable as well as commendable what you're doing, as well as your vision. And is there an Instagram for that company?
There is. It's True Rest Float Spa, North Austin.
All of that stuff, as well as her IGs, will be down below. If you have any other video reaction requests or want other personality types on the show, you can also comment down below. With that, make a great day, take it joyfully, and stay conscious. Awesome job, Heather. You did great.
Thank you.
Awesome.